Welcome to the recording of the Power Play workshop, where we will learn all about erotic power, polarity, and the conscious art of dominance and submission. I'm Victoria, I'm the founder of Play Academy and intimacy coach, and I will guide you today on that journey. I think you are here because you're curious about dominance and submission. Some of you might feel that dominant and submission energy inside of you now, so you are what we call switch, and you're wondering what to do and how to express that energy. Some of you want a safe space to expand your repertoire because sex can be so much more playful and interesting and exciting and thrilling when you try new things. For some of you, passion is the issue. And passion is such an overused word. It was like, what does it mean? In modern sexology, we call it polarity, the erotic charge, the energy between the two people, the attraction, the desire to consume a person. And we'll talk a little bit more about polarity. And there are people who are new to power play, some couples and people who explore power play. So let's dive into this. And how to use this workshop. A lot of my workshops are very practical. This one will be a little bit of information download. But please take a piece of paper and take a notebook and start thinking about wish list. From everything I'll be discussing, what sounds appealing and delicious? What would you like to try? Then think about your hard limits, things that are absolutely no-go for you. Soft limits, things that you kind of would like to explore, but you are unsure, afraid, or you are triggered. And triggers are really important. Triggers are all fearful, shameful, or that is wrong. It's wrong to want it thoughts, because power play is so deeply psychological, and a lot of people feel ashamed of their desire to dominate or surrender. And I hope I will explain you why it's so natural and absolutely human to play a power play game. I always start with a disclaimer. You are unique. Your intimacy is unique. What I'm sharing here, it's a lot of stories from the couples I coach, and also some information, general information about power play. But please, you are unique. Take all this advice through you and absorb what is useful, discard what is useless and doesn't feel right for you, and always add your specific perspective. And when I do intimacy coaching, I like to think about intentional intimacy your way. Optimize for pleasure, and this is what is the most important in intimacy. We have sex because of two things: pleasure and connection with our partner. And also think about it as erotic growth. I'm sure you have your career growth, or fitness development and nutrition growth, but there is so much erotic growth you can do. Experiment with different things, try, and this is the only way to understand if this tool, play, game is for you. And everything that is working, you can package in habits and ritual and embed into your life. And everything that you didn't like, you say, that was delicious. I tried the dish, but I don't want to continue with that dish. And it's a beautiful journey of self-discovery and erotic growth. So why we're talking about power play? It's the second most popular fantasy. Guess what? Pause for a second. What is the first fantasy? The first fantasy is threesomes and orgies. And for a lot of couples, going into threesome and orgies requires lots of composure, work from jealousy, lots of agreement and communication, and can be quite damaging. I do coach couples after unsuccessful threesome experience that disrupts the relationship, disrupts trust, and creates a disbalance in the communication. And here we have a second most popular fantasy that doesn't require the third person, that all it requires is two people to step into a play, to step into a different role, different part of themselves, and to embody the role of dominant or submissive. And it's beautiful. Let's look at the data. Dr. Justin Lee Miller I will mention his book later. He was my professor whom I learned from. He did a massive research in the US, 4,000 couples. And look at the numbers of people who want to be dominated and to be dominant. It's absolutely incredible. And there are only 7% of men and 4% of women who never fantasize about any part of BDSM. So lots of us fantasize mentally about it, but we have obstacles inside of us to access that fantasy. What is interesting to observe that what I call power in the boardroom, are you powerful in your life, in your career, in your personal life? Sometimes it's mirrored or sometimes it's reversed in the bedroom. There are people who like power and control everywhere in all aspects of their life, while other individuals say like, I'm so powerful, I'm always in control at work, in my career, at home, with kids. And here I want to surrender. I want to reverse the roles. I want to let go. But also looking at the data above, you can see that the majority of us are switches. A lot of people, they fantasize about both being dominant and being dominated. So it's such a beautiful opportunity to connect with that switch energy and say, how do I feel when I lead? Being dominant is I lead, I'm in control. And how do I feel when I'm submissive, when I surrender, that I allow, when I receive? Yeah. I'll talk a little bit about polarity because polarity is essential to create this sexual spark, to create that what we call passion. And power play is one of the easiest way to create polarity. It brings novelty and bends reality, and it can be such a healing journey for lots of people. The suppressed shadow parts that we never show to people can be healed, welcomed, and embedded in the identity of the person, and it's beautiful. And what I observe time after time is that when you're playing in taboos, this is such a source of turn-on. It's such a source of erotic, charged energy that goes beyond anything you can do, any other thing you can try. Because in our mind, we allowed someone to go in the area that is vulnerable, that is taboo, that is kink, that is unaccepted, that maybe we didn't show anyone. That is so erotic. And when you're with your partner on that journey, on the journey of vulnerability and sharing that kink, it's so connecting that creates a different life and a different level of connection and relationship. And I would like to encourage you with this workshop to go there and explore power play or explore any fantasy at the level of intensity that is comfortable for you. Really quick about erotic polarity, because you might recognize yourself in one of the scenarios. So erotic polarity is tension between two opposites. What is happening in the first year of relationship? You date a person who you don't know. It's a new person and you are a new person. You're two different entities and you have attraction between you. What is happening with time? You live together. You talk about life, chores, kids, vacation, money. You become one. And you're so much of the one that there is no tension. There is nothing happening because you are the same. And the easiest way for me to explain polarity, by the way, is the attraction to a human who you don't like or values are misaligned. We all had a crazy attraction to another human being who is values misaligned, bad boy, or absolutely different principles, but the attraction is that because you're opposites, because there is polarization. There is spark of attraction, that pull towards the person, the deep sense of aliveness. It's incredibly important for passion, for energy, for build-up. And this is why we're also attracted to people who are new. We're in a long-term relationship. We meet someone new and they are unknown. They're different. They're opposite. and the attraction happens. But believe me, you can reignite polarity in your relationship. You don't need a new person. If you want, obviously, you can have it, but you don't need. Unhealthy ways couples create polarity, I see time after time, conflicts. When you create drama, you separate and you say, this is my position, this is your position. We disagree. Maybe we disagree loudly, but there is polarity, there is intensity. With time, it erodes safely. And let's be honest, you can't have sex every time you argue. You don't need to argue to have sex. You can be in a different way. Another way is the person who wants to regain power subconsciously withholds love, attention, and affection. They disappear from your life, right? Then there is playing game and manipulation. And about that, by the way, even Esther Perel, who I really like, talks. She talks about the fact that we love seeing when other women like our partner or flirt with our partner, right? That is a game. That is a triangulation when there is a third person who makes us realize how our partner is so attractive. So we also have toxic masculinity and toxic femininity. And in some cases, people play control and punishing games with a partner, but without consent. And let's be clear here. If your partner chokes you or spanks you without your consent, this is violence. If something is done with consent and with agreed that this is what I want, that is power play. Everything without agreement and consent is violence and is not what we're talking about here. So how do we create healthy polarity? How do we create this erotic sexual polarity, that charge? You saw a lot now about embody your feminine, masculine, step into your feminine energy, connect with that power. By the way, I think all of us have masculine and feminine. I also think dominance can be very feminine and submission can be very masculine. It's both energies intermixed and it can look in any shape and form. But somewhere I agree that if we reconnect to what I would call erotic energy, having more masculine and feminine qualities with our erotic energy, if we're in our erotic self, we become more polarized and there is more attraction. There are meditation practices, techniques to reconnect with that part. And it's all beautiful if you have time and you want to do it. The second what is recommended is planned separation, distance, space, vacations together, hobbies together, sleeping in different bedrooms, traveling on your own, having your own world. I really like one American sexologist, and she is celebrity sexologist, and she advised celebrities to have 2 houses, not to merge household, but to have 2 houses, and only, I think, 3 nights a week they spend together. Beautiful and impractical. How many of us can afford such? But it does create polarity because you miss the person. There is space. You spend time on your own and they're like, I want to spend time with you now. The third way is erotic build-up and tease. Foreplay, teasing, playing, mental playing, seduction, not giving to person what they want, teasing them sexually. That is all what creates a lot of charge because you want but you don't get it. Yeah, and power play, as you know, is built a lot on tease and denial and orgasm control as tools, and novelty. Any kind of novelty tells us, oh, our partner, there is something new about them. We almost want to discover them again. They're a new human being. And power play is part of the novelty, part of the role play that you can engage in order to create that polarity. And again, I'll come back here. If you see yourself doing one of these things, lightly, in a light form or in a very intense form, it's because subconsciously you want that charge. you want that energy, you want to feel wanted and desired, but you don't know how to do it in a healthy way. So why do you want power play? Apart from polarity, that is quite subconscious, not a lot of people are aware of that. People ask me a lot of whys. And my observation is we don't question so much our desires in food or fitness or in life or in style. We don't. We're like, I like it. I like skiing more than beach. We don't question that. But our sexual preferences, we almost have like tendencies to go so deep. And I had one client who literally spent several years in therapy to understand why he wants power play. I think it is helpful and it gives you self-awareness and understanding of yourself. But also, I would love us to have more acceptance of this is what I want. My desires are guiding me and making me unique. Why do I need so much of what I call why the whys, understanding the reasons behind their desire, rather than accepting and tasting and feeling it? But if we go in the reasons like why you want to submit, general factors, is release from responsibility, not in control, liberating feeling of subspace, I'm not in control, someone else engineering, orchestrating an experience for me. Feeling deeply desired, seen, and in some cases owned or used. So there are a lot of core desires that we have that DS, dominant submission play or power play, allows us to feel. There is so much safety, and safety is important for pleasure, particularly for women. So when a woman says to the dominant partner, I give you my body, the safety of my body, the control over my body. So the level of safety is so high that it allows women to release, to be in her body, to receive, to relax, to truly be there because of that safety, innate safety that is required of power play. And there is a big shadow integration and mindfulness. Mindfulness is a big topic in intimacy, because if no one is here in the body, whatever you do to the body, there will be no pleasure, there will be no arousal, right? Pain, submission, subspace, someone taking control. For some people, even they can be triggered even by words like good girl, they get in a subspace. That gets them in a mindful, trance-like state. That is absolutely beautiful. Pain for a lot of people gets them there. So for some people, they need tantra, meditation, practices. For other people, they need spanking. They get there. For the dominant, by the way, shadow integration and heightened presence, same dom space, it's also a real space that you can experience. But the main driver is control and erotic power. It's incredibly arousing, intoxicated. It gives high levels of presence. Everything feels very alive. And also for doms, they feel very wanted, very primal, wanted, in control. For some of them, worship. So coming back to core desires that I love, by the way, as a concept. We have sex to experience a core desire. And for some people, the core desire is to be chased or hunted or to be used. For other people, is to be wanted and worshipped and adored. Dominance can be an art. To design a beautiful scene, to create that tension, it's a huge mental play. And I see lots of dominant people who are highly skilled in psychology, highly intellectual, because it does require a lot of intellectual resource to design particularly a mental play, to create scene, to create a storytelling, to take the sub on a journey to the bliss that we call subspace. Yeah? Let's dive in. What can you do in your DS play? How does it look? First, there are two types of kinky kink sensations and kink play that you can have during DS. One is physical, another is psychological. So physical, it's all about what is happening in the body. Eyesight, taste, touch, skin, slap, spank, taste. So people love the physical sensation of the body. So body is talking first. For psychological or mental kinky type, mind is first. Everything happens in the mind. They crave mental surrender. They crave mental support, control. Context is important. What the dominant says is important. The scene needs to be very elaborated. Sometimes people call it mindfuck, mental play, where power dynamics are so intertwined with triggering and pushing the buttons. And it can be humiliation, it can be degradation, it can be epic scenarios, tease and denial, control, use, training, discipline, reprogramming. But it's all very, very mental. And it's beautiful. For majority of people, there is a link of both, a mix of both. They like mental, but they also like some physical triggers that create together a scene. Let's talk about the most popular activities. It's like, what do you actually do as a dominant or as a submissive? The first level is commands, obedience, and instructions, following the rules. So you might say that, oh, do I have DS play with my partner? If you have any type of play when partner tells you, come here, sit down, do that, kiss me, when they just give instructions and or they guide you with the body, with their verbal and non-verbal communication, you are in a light DS play where your partner tells you what to do and is guiding your activities. The level up, what can happen is impact play, starting with spanking, paddling, flogging, cropping, caning, or using any kind of. We are lucky, all of us have the tool for spanking here, right? That is the level. The third level is bondage, pinning the person, light restraint, holding their hands, playing with scarves, rope play with shibari, limiting the movement. So as you can see, the control is kind of growing, right? Like we started with the instruction, do that, with spanking, and now the dominant is limiting the ability of submissive to move. Then we go to a verbal one, praise and degradation. Praise king is huge for a lot of submissive, even hearing you're such a good slut or a good girl is an incredibly arousing sensation, getting praise from the dominant. And degradation is the negative play that you can do that works and a lot for people, for some submissive. Sensory play, blindfolds, temperature, teasing senses, wax play, gags, removing the sensory deprivation, doing any type of sensory deprivation that pulls us into the body, that gets the person more sensitive. Service submission goes a level up from commands when you ask for massages, domestic tasks. Also very known for submissive men, known to want to be CCs or do some domestic cleaning, washing, dishwashing task as a way to submit. A huge part of DS play is tease and denial, controlling orgasm and pleasure. This is what dominant is for, to take submissive on a journey, on the journey of like, we start here, there is arouse, energy builds up, maybe it falls, then there is one more build up, and dominant decides when and how submissive and whether submissive will experience orgasm and pleasure. Mind games and psychological play. We discussed mental domination, mental play. CNC, consensual non-consent, is big thing of that. A lot of women, I don't remember the percentage, but it was a very high percentage of women want a rape fantasy or being chased and being taken forcefully without without their consent, when in fact they given consent to that play. Yeah. And there are a lot of symbolic rituals like coloring, greeting a dominant in a particular way when the dominant is training the submissive, and molding the submissive to be the perfect submissive for them. Praise and degradation is the same as reward and punishment, a huge part of the game. Reward is normally pleasure, punishment is normally impact play, but for every person, what is rewarding and what is punishing can be so different. After diving into the main activities, I want to guide you lightly how to start. So I think the all start we should begin with ourselves. Who am I? What do I love? I can't expect from another human to come here and uncover me and teach me and go me on a journey. Although it might happen, by the way, you're lucky if it happens, but I believe every person should own their sexuality. The way we own our health, and sexual health is part of health. So there is a BDSM test that you can do. You can start watching different BDSM porn and say, oh, what does excite me? What do I find arousing? Be careful here. Shame will come, and shame will say, you are a bad human because you want it. And I'm telling you, it's all natural. I also love the idea of creating your lover manual, and I do this with a lot of my coaching clients. Who am I as a lover? What do I like? What do I find arousing? What excites me? What are my limits? And the best way to learn about yourself is to try. Our brain plays such an incredible mental stimulation, and sometimes we find something so stimulating mentally, but when we do it, we're like, oh, that was not what I expected here. I get this a lot with threesomes, and I'm not discouraging you to try threesomes, by the way, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of people who experience threesomes, because they see it in porn and it feels so arousing and thrilling, when they try it in real life, they're like, oh, okay. So try it. And some things that you might be like, not sure I like it. When you try, you might uncover that you absolutely love it. And I'm sure it happened to you with food a lot, when you're like, I'm not sure, and then you just love that food. This is the way to learn about yourself. How do you start exploring with a partner? Imagine if you are in a relationship of 5-10 years and you have a particular sexual repertoire or sexual scripts. Coming to your partner saying, I want you to dominate me, can feel very, very threatening for their erotic ego. And it's almost like, whoa, what am I doing wrong? I have been doing wrong all this time. The most important message that you need to tell your partner: we are evolving erotic beings. Our erotic desires, same as our food preferences, evolve. And if you want to start the conversation, start it with these 2 questions. And the first question I absolutely love: how can I be a better lover for you? And what would you like to try in the bedroom? And then you take some of your fantasies, some of their fantasies, and you start exploring. Then there is togetherness. You are exploring this together. You are on a journey that is so arousing and thrilling, rather than you putting demands on your part. And I understand people who share their needs in very assertive way, because for them it's like, oh my God, I finally discovered that I want that. I suppressed it inside of me for so long, but I want that. They want to communicate it to their partner, but the reaction can be the opposite. My second advice, DS, dominant submission, has, for a lot of people, a lot of negative connotation, lots of shame. You can start DS before putting any label. Just asking, can you pin me? Can you hold my wrist? Can you pull my hair? Can you choke? Guide the body where you want it. That is very dominant, by the way, when you're guiding the body of your partner there. Even like during penetration or during oral sex, that is very, very dominant. Start with whispering, good girl, good boy, stay still for me. Do some, more intense eye contact if you're dominant. Just introduce some dominant things in your play and see how your partner responds. Start slowly, then build up. The third level, we're going even up in the game. I'm in control games. Like, let's play I'm in control game. Tonight I'm in charge. You follow my lead. And here it's all about your creativity. I want to meet you at 9. You should wear this. I want you to greet me in this position. You wait for me. You are my bitch today. Beautiful. That is the play. This is the framing. Start giving instructions how you want this up to look, play what you want. For some people, it makes sense to plan in advance a scene. And a slight piece of advice: ChatGPT is amazing at planning scenes. You can try. It's doing really good. You want to move a level up. You can start with sensory dominance, blindfolds, ties, feathers, tickles, and light impact play. All this is happening with consent and agreement. Nothing from this should happen without you discussing with the partner. Say, would you like me to blindfold you? How do you feel if today I blindfold you and use wax on you to feel this beautiful temperature play? Everything should be agreed. And if you want a proper play, that is a contained DS play with different, if you're using 2 or 3 of different activities, it's a contained DS play. My first advice is educate yourself. There is Kink Academy that is very affordable. I think it's $20 or $30 a month. And it gives you lots of videos of how to spank. Like, a lot of things here are health concerned and alerting things, right? Like, you can't just start spanking a person or flogging someone without understanding how to do it and how to safely do it. You can also play with prodoms and contact me if you want some references. There are pro-dominant men and dominatrixes who offer beautiful DS learning experiences. So both partners will be there. For example, pro-dom will play with the woman within the consent, and then it will be debriefing, so you know what your partner wants, and you can learn and you can see how it was, how skills were applied. Sex parties, and a lot of sex parties, they have St. Andrew's Cross, or there is in-house dom. You can play there, dungeon play, and there are lots of workshops. What is the most important in a play? It's not the activities you're doing, but how you're doing. Pre-scene negotiation, consent, hard and soft limits, communication during the scene, having a safe word and safe action. Some people are using light system, green, yellow, red, when you're like, oh, how do you feel? Is it green for you? We're getting in yellow. Other people use ranking, when during the play you ask your partner, from 1 to 10, how did you feel that juicy spank? Or how would you rank it? It's good for you to check in and see, are you at 5 or are you at 8? And then if you're dominant, you can very playfully say, let me bring you to 9. I want to hear you. Ask me for more, beg for more. You can also check in with this, like, do you want more? And if they say yes, sir, you know that you can push them harder. Post-play debrief for me is a technique that is essential with the partners with whom you play regularly. And I like using start, stop, continue framework. What are 3 things you loved and you want me to continue doing? And this is the questions that you can ask your submissive. 3 things to continue. What are 1 thing that I did that you would like me not to do? Stop doing. And what is 1 thing you wished I did, but I didn't? What I should start. If you do this post-play debrief regularly, in 5-6 plays, you will know your submissive so well and what triggers to push. And aftercare, absolutely essential. After play, It is trance-inducing, it's reality-bending, it's like being in a different dimension. You need to bring yourself as a dominant and submissive back to the reality. So if you're a switch and you want more advanced play, let me suggest some of the ideas. Alternate roles. Some people like to do it in the moment, so they come, like they meet in the evening and they're like, oh, today you will be dominant or I will be dominant if it's switching a couple. I prefer to plan it and have anticipation and have seduction and have things build it during the day to start building in the tension, to start building the erotic charge. 1 month role immersion is beautiful when for 1 month one partner gets a dominant role and plays it. You can do it also 1 week, but longer immersion. And you see how it feels and where it takes you. Beautiful exploration. Write a scene. The submissive writes a scene or fantasy to inspire Dom and ideas to explore. And mastering new activities and tools. Start and say, okay, as a couple, what do I find arousing? This, okay, let's try it. Or what toy do we want to buy? Let's buy our first gag or our first flogger. Let's try it. So mastering activity by activity, tool by tool, embedding it and debriefing how it feels. So much excitement here. And if you're watching this video and you feel that your erotic energy builds up, because it's natural, we are talking about such a rousing topic. But something stops you. Something stops you from accessing that beautiful energy inside of you, and it is shame. These are the things that I hear again and again. What is wrong with me? I'm broken. I'm a pervert. What does it say to me? How can I be a beautiful human being and do that to my partner? So let me explain how I believe human psyche works. I love internal family system. And internal family system says that inside of us we have different parts. One part is a business part. One part is very romantic. It can be very loving and romantic. And we can have one or many erotic parts. What we find erotic is so personal. And it is shameful for lots of people because your erotic might be not what you see in movies and porn and not what you see in rom-coms. But embracing that erotic self is such a source of energy because it is part of you that now is shadowed. And there is nothing wrong with it. Like, it's a game, it's a play. And as kids we played, and now we play, but the context of our play changed. So healing the shame is the first step to realizing how natural it is. And I'm doing this workshop also to demystify, because some people say, oh, people who play in this are some kind of weirdos. No. And my intimacy clients, who majority of career, professional, successful people, they are absolutely what we will call normal. It's natural to play this game. Fear of hurting, of being hurt, physically or emotionally. Again, if you don't do a deep self-awareness work and deep communication, you can get into that situation of hurting, of being hurt. Communication gaps, right? You think, oh, this is my partner. Why should I do post-play debriefs? Even recently I had this. I'm like, because you are entering a completely different territory. You are working with your newly discovered erotic part that needs that communication, that needs that check-ins, that needs these boundaries. Some people find it difficult to transition from the bedroom to life. So the shifting the roles can be challenging when the roles are young, like immature, unintegrated. I can see sometimes desires, intensity, one partner wants more, it's more of the sadist, and another partner is more on the pleasure side, or a sensory part. So this is where they disconnect, but it also can be breached. And trust repair after a bad scene. And look, if your partner invites you to a restaurant and you don't like it, you laugh it off and you forget. It will be a joke. For some people, when they have a bad sexual experience with a partner, it just makes them shut down. And this is why my company is called Foreplay Academy. Sex is playful. And the more playfulness and light-hearted approach we get, I'm not saying treating it light-hearted, but being light about it, talking about it, repairing and trying new things. Because if you try new things, something will go wrong, I can guarantee. You will have to learn. Learning how to repair after a conflict or bad experience is a life skill. Something also to mention that came up from the same Justin Lemiller research, he has a beautiful book if you're interested in fantasies, is when he asked people, how likely are you to act on your favorite fantasy? 79% said, yeah, when the question was future-oriented. But when in the other part of the survey, he said, how many of you have acted on your favorite fantasies? 23.4% said, yes, I acted. Look at the gap. We all want, we all fantasize, we all say, I want to try it, but we don't. Your sexual experience is limited by the things you're afraid to try. You feel vulnerable of trying. You feel ashamed of trying. And working through this shame, going down the journey alone or with a partner is a beautiful healing experience, because your desires is how your body talks to you through desires. Is that I want that. And I understand that you can't have 1 kilo of ice cream every day, and you can say, dear body, you can't have it. But sexual desires, just so beautiful and healthy. Why do you say no to yourself? And the question that I also get quite a lot, okay, that all sounds exciting, but I'm not dominant. I hear it from men. That is not me. I believe in nature and nurture. Everything can be taught. Same as with leadership. Leadership, there are natural leaders. That you feel they're leaders from the age of 4 or 5, they're leading. But there are people who nurture their leadership. Same with dominance. Embodied confidence, gaze, your tone of voice, how you phrase, how you focus on actions, what you do. It can be nurtured and it can be taught. And if you need any help, you can come to me for some intimacy coaching and getting you in that dominant mindset. And at the end of this recording, I would like to encourage you. I hope you got your wish list and things you are excited but scared to explore. What got you here sexually will not get you to the next level of pleasure, to the next level of erotic discovery. Some people call it liberation, but you need to push through things you're scared. It's almost like they feel exciting, but you are afraid. Just do your play roadmap and see what you can play with, what you can try safely with consent and communication with your partner. I also will attach presentation to you. I included a small vocabulary of DS terms in case it is useful, or in case you were like, oh, I would like to understand more what it means. And I hope you enjoyed it. It's a pleasure that you spend this time with me, and play more, have fun. Sex is all about play, mindfulness, and communication. And I wish you a lot of erotic adventures.